All right,
All
let's
right.
get on with
All
it.
right, first talk tonight, guys, is give it up, skeptics. America is no longer debating climate change. So, Drew, have at it, Hoss.
Yeah. See, a recent Washington Post ABC News poll found that 70% of Americans accept climate change as real, and perhaps more importantly, want their leaders to combat it. This includes a majority of Republicans. After decades of warnings, climate change is here and now and doing serious damage. We've identified the number one culprit, carbon pollution, from the burning of fossil fuels. Here in the U.S., power plants kick out 40% of the country's carbon pollution, making them its single largest source. Right now, we limit mercury, arsenic, lead, and other dangerous pollutants from the power plants, but somehow there has been no national limit to how much carbon pollution these plants may spew out into the air. And that's just wrong. It's time to close the pollution loopholes and put in place the common sense safeguards we need to reduce the dangerous carbon pollution that's warming the planet and threatening our future. Thankfully, President Barack Obama is doing just that. He instructed the Environmental Protection Agency to create the first ever limits on carbon pollution from power plants. In response, EPA released the Clean Power Plan, which will accelerate the move on to a modern clean energy system to power our future, one that relies on wind, solar, and other forms of renewable energy. Done right, cutting carbon pollution from power plants could stimulate 52 billion to 121 billion in the cost-effective energy efficiency and renewable energy between now and 2020, and could save U.S. families and businesses more than 37 billion on their electricity bills by the same year. And that's about $100 a year in savings for the average household.
Thank you very much, there, Drew. Paul, I think you want to go first. I guess this is good news. What do you think, Paul?
I think it's great news that there's finally going to be something done about the power plants and how much coal and carbon, or sorry, how much carbon they're putting out from the coal burning and the fossil fuels. I mean, there's a consensus on it. It's 97% of the climate scientists agree. That's from NASA's website itself. You go to climate.nasa.gov, they talk about the consensus. 97% of climate scientists agree. There's 18 different scientific associations, observations throughout the world make it clear that climate change is occurring, and rigorous scientific research demonstrates that the greenhouse gases emitted by human activities are the primary driver. Yeah, there's American Association for Advancement of Science, American Chemical Society, American Geophysical Union, American Medical Association, American Meteorological Association, American Physical Society, the Geological Society of America, science academies. There's
it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. Yeah, there's the intergovernmental government bodies, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change as well. It says the warning of climate system is unequivocal, as is now evident from observations or increases in the global average air and ocean temperature, widespread melting of snow and ice, and rising global average sea level. Most of the observed increase in global average temperature since the mid-20th century is very likely due to the observable increase in anthropogenic greenhouse gas concentrations. The IPCC defines very likely as greater than 90% probability of occurrence. So greater than 90% probability of occurrence that it's man-made greenhouse gases causing the problems.
Yeah.
But no. We got to be skeptic of we got to be skeptic of the consensus the scientists have, and we got to show them the science is wrong. How? By funneling a bunch of money to junk science, pseudoscience, saying that no, it's not. It's natural that it goes this way. Like there's a quote from one person's from. Let me see, quote about dinosaurs, like really about dinosaurs. Oh yeah, State's Representative Kevin Sinnett dismissed the threat of man-made global warming by pointing out that dinosaurs survived climate change. The dinosaurs died, and we don't know why, but the world adjusted, Sinnett said. And to say that this is what's going to cause detriment to people, I just don't think that's out there. Well, here's the problem. In this scenario, we're the dinosaurs, we're gonna die, and the planet's gonna be okay, but we're fucked.
Yeah, exactly, we're fucked.
Yeah, and wasn't there another guy that compared our temperature to Mars and therefore made a point about coal plants?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, it was recent too. Yeah, he's saying it seems like temperature and end up being, I think the average temperature on Mars was negative 86. 71?
Oh, 86?
Yeah, no, I think it was 86 or whatever. 71 probably some. But 86 what I've seen, yeah, negative 86, and I think it's 56 degrees on Earth here or something like that. I'm like, why it's not even in the same neighborhood? It's like, oh my god. But real quick, what I want to say before TJ and Drew goes is I want to make sure, because I wasn't too sure about this, seriously. I think it was Desert File that brought this to my attention. I am not too hip when it comes to global warming. I am not, or even climate change. So what I want to do is decipher the definition between global warming and climate change, because I know you guys are hip with this shit. You guys know I'm not too hip with this shit. So the people that might be viewing this video and say, okay, well, what is the difference? So, well, global warming, it refers to increases in the Earth's average temperature because of greenhouse gases build up in the atmosphere. Global warming is a cause of climate change. Now, you got climate change. It's a broader term, of course. It refers to changes, increases or decreases to long-term weather patterns such as temperature, rainfall, or snowfall. So I just want to distinguish there the differences, because you'll have these crazy right-wingers that say, hey, well, there is no such thing as climate change. You know, the evidence doesn't. Well, no, we're talking about global warming, not climate change per se. Global warming as the whole Earth.
The difference is pretty easy when you think about it.
When you think about it,
global or climate change like happens on a global scale, like throughout the
whole Earth,
you know,
the whole world.
The whole. We have many different ice ages, some more current, and they say that we'll go into ice ages in the future. So I mean that will happen. What we're talking about is more like what man-made, and it's the man-made part that they have said there. Like, it might be warming. It's the man-made part they have such a problem with, because that means regulations. But here's the thing: they're so against renewable energy. Like, even, you know why? Because they're bought off by the oil companies. But like, when the greed finally runs its course and we are running like desperately low on oil, we will be so fucking far behind on renewable energies that I don't think we'll be in such an energy crisis.
Solar bitches.
Dude, oh God. But we won't have, like, if we started now, our technology with solar panels and how much they can actually, like, you know, keep, and the batteries to actually hold all the power that it gains through the day to work at night. And that we could be improving on that, but we're barely doing anything. If they put half the money that they put into oil into renewable energy, they'd be growing in leaps and bounds.
Great.
And I'm not talking about solar roadways either.
Yeah. Good one. I like that little jab at the end. But anyway, real quick before Drew goes here, is I seen a couple comments in the comment section, one or two. I understand my definitions of global warming, climate change. It does differ. People have different opinions, but that's the generic terms right there, definitions of those terms. So I just wanted to put that out there, that there are other definitions out there. You could tweak it here or there. So I understand that, but in a broad sense, that's what it is. So, Jerome, go ahead.
I just want to...
go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry, go.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing real quick. Yeah, it's climate change, global warming, whatever. Different words. They've changed. The scientific community is changing the way they classify it.
Tweak them, yeah.
And you know, so it goes from this to that. Just the name of it changes, but it doesn't change the fact that it is fucking happening. But that, you know, that's another one of the things they want to do, is to obscure the thing. Well, science is changing. It's changing all the time. It used to be global warming. Now it's climate change. Ha ha ha. You guys are making shit up. No, things are just changing with the evidence. Keep up.
Exactly. Drew?
No, I love somebody put in the chat, you know, climate change is bullshit. Just ask Alex Jones. Yeah. No, the one thing I want to talk about is... because I've done quite a few videos on climate change and stuff, and Republicans are just like fodder to make fun of somebody in a video about this. I've heard the politicians say all the time, usually their big thing is, this isn't settled science. You know, the same thing they say about evolution and anything that threatens their belief. But by that, what they're meaning is there isn't a 100% consensus on it. Well, there's a newsflash, dipshit. You aren't going to get 100%
it's never
consensus
100%
on anything.
Exactly.
If you have 99.999% of people accepting gravity as fact, you're undeniably going to have a 0.001% of people that think it's angels that holds people down to the planet.
Right.
I mean, you're not going to change that. So when they say there's no consensus amongst the people that know what the fuck they're talking about, 97% is overwhelming. That's huge.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, exactly.
TJ, you ready to say something?
You know what?
I know it. Here we go.
Spare them a little bit, because there's no consensus on how the tide works either. All right?
It's David Silverman.
The
Where's
tide,
he at?
how's the fuck does that
where's
work?
he at? Where's David Silverman?
God.
Jesus.
Right?
Then we have one that
too hard on them.
I think we asked David Silverman that question. You did, TJ. So
I did, of course.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Of course, that was like the first question I asked him. Was like, I know
one of our comedy
this
clips.
is a difficult one, but have you figured out how the tides work?
Oh, that's great.
Seriously, it's when you take it to that level of like derp, and then his explanation afterwards to Bill O'Reilly to say like, oh yeah, well then how'd the moon get there? Who put it there? Like, like you're dealing with a level of stupid and ignorant, and he's so. If you've gone through life that long and not been able to figure out to ask those bigger questions, then no person talking to you is gonna fucking just get through to you all of a sudden.
Thanks, TJ, for that off-topic discussion there. Awesome, dude. Very good.
I'm saying,
I enjoyed it.
It's totally on topic. What you have, what I'm talking about is you're dealing with people like that will not accept.
Well, fucking Fox News, of course.
Any kind of facts. You say like, well, everybody is in agreement. Everybody that knows what they're talking about is in the vast majority of agreement. It's like a tiny fraction of a percentage that disagree with it, right? So, or even studies that don't support the claims of people who say global warming is happening, not climate change, but like global warming. So, but there are so many people who they're convinced they know it all. I'm not a scientist, but I'll tell you this: them scientists are full of shit.
Could be a ploy.
Like,
it could be a ploy.
That's the ideology that we're dealing with. And when you're dealing with people that are just willfully ignorant, they don't even want to. They plug their ears. I'm wearing headphones, so plugging my ears is kind of difficult. But they want to plug their ears and just tune it all out and just be comfortable in their own little area. I think that's my grumpy opinion. I honestly think that people are they're just selfish and they don't want to have to think about shit too much. I don't know how many people have told me like they're like I didn't get 12 monkeys. Like, how can you be stupid enough not to get 12 monkeys?
The movie, right? I
saw 12.
Movie? Oh yeah, it's a great fucking movie. I watch it all the time.
I didn't get it. I'm like, what's not to get about it? It's an awesomely written fucking script.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Like a perfect circle. You can watch it on repeat and it would go on forever. It's a beautifully written fucking movie that really blows your mind. The first time I watched that, I was tripping balls. And that really blew my mind. But I mean, I got it immediately, even on drugs. How can you not get it?